When a person, or in psychotherapy, for example, a client is in a state of shame, that's the first thing to address. You really can't do anything else until there's shame, because
Fail for you.
remember, when we're trying to change, comes through changing the brain, creating new neural networks that are more functional.
Yeah.
One of the prerequisites for changing the brain, one of the prerequisites for lighting up the whole neural network so that you can change the brain, is that you're in a relaxed state. So you're in nervous system calm. You're not in fight or flight.
Yes.
You're with a trusted other. You feel safe with the person.
You feel safe.
The third thing is that you're not feeling judgment. You're not feeling judgment from somebody else, like the person you're with, and you're not judging yourself.
This is radical acceptance, or...
Yes. Shame is self-judgment. So if we're in a state of shame or beating ourselves up, the neural network is going to just like be in lockdown.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to create new juicy ones, right? Yeah. So the first order of business is to address the shame. So what I did when you were describing the shame you felt about telling your girlfriend that you felt insecure.
You normalized.
I normalized it.
Damn.
And I validated it.
Yeah.
I said there's good reasons to have jealousy.
Yeah.
Right? I normalized. I could universalize it. Like
most people
do that, right?
Yeah, you're not alone.
I could use self-disclosure. I could talk about times when I have had a similar thing.
You're not alone.
Yeah.
We're
you're not
simpatico.
alone.
We're
right.
We're
So that's the first order of business. And for some people, shame is so prevalent that that's the primary work in the therapy for quite a while. And that's
to get acceptance.
Because maybe their adaptations are so kind of dramatic that their sense of self, their identity, is entirely tied up in external things: appearance, success, money,
right?
Other people's opinion, being loved, being adored by people, right?
Externally validating versus internally,
right? It's kind of that hollow tree, right? There's only the bark, and there's nothing inside. You know, this would be someone, for example, on the far end of narcissistic injuries, right?
Yeah.
Hollow trunk. It's a trauma response. They got way too little of their attachment needs met in childhood. And so if somebody calls them out on any of their external, the ways they measure themselves as having value, their money or their looks or their being attractive or anything, then if that arrow, the other person's input, right, punctures that bark, there's nothing inside to keep it from a free fall into shame. We know shame is the worst feeling.
Yeah.
And so when there's people who really, don't have a well-developed internal self, they're going to get angry and attack. So we know some people in the public sector who are like that, right? We don't have to name names. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Well, many of us are on that spectrum.
Yes.
For some narcissistic injuries. Maybe it's not a hollow tree, but maybe there are parts of the bark that are a little porous, right?
Yeah.
And if that arrow hits the right spot, vulnerability maybe.
It's the chink in your armor.
Then, right. And so, maybe you don't lash out, but maybe you shut down, right? And so that a big part of the work for all of us, to become more fully dimensional, peaceful, joyful people, humans, is to develop that thicker, stronger core.
Yeah, the inside.
Right?
Yeah.
Developing that relationship with ourselves.
That you're okay. I'm okay.
Yeah. And so that, is a lot of the work for people who experience a lot of shame, but for all of us.
Shame is the death by the second arrow. You've heard that analogy?
No.
The second arrow?
No, tell me about that.
Look it up real quick, but it's a story. that I think it's a Buddhist story
Mm-hmm.
about a general that was on the battlefield. Something occurs in your life, a failure. Phil fails.
Mm-hmm.
This whole thing is about this. But I'm going to put second arrow and see what it says, just so that what a wonderful world we live in, where I could just put in second arrow Buddhism. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to read what it says. Well, I'll tell you, and then I'll read what it says. The first arrow is the event,
Mm-hmm.
the misstep, the phrase. And that's the arrow that comes from the external world, some feedback you get.
Right.
The second arrow you shoot yourself with. Because
Self-judgment, shame.
yes, it's all of these things, the way you respond to the event, instead of, normalizing, doing the things that you listed a bunch, generalizing, normalizing, sharing a story. We're the same. This is, I'm not unique. A lot of people feel this way. You go into that shame spiral. What it says, the robot, in Buddhism, the second arrow is the self-inflicted suffering, judgment, and rumination that follows unavoidable physical or emotional pain. The first arrow is that with teachings emphasizing that while the first arrow, which is life's hardship, is inevitable, the second arrow, our reaction, is optional and can be avoided through mindfulness, acceptance, self-compassion, to prevent magnifying our distress. So I always think of shame as like death by the second arrow.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you for sharing that. I'd never heard that. That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.